there's a real possibility that we will see esports as an Olympic event by 2020 in the Paris Summer Olympics. But there are moves being made to try to get Olympics or esports as events for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Will that happen? We're going to go with yes, just for fun. But what games would make a good selection for these 2020 Tokyo Olympics? What would be the games that need to debut esports to the world as, quote, Olympic events? Well, you need a combination of things. You need single-player games, you need multiplayer games, you need games that are easy for non-esports players to follow, and you need games that are easy to follow that are for people who aren't heavily invested in the community. You need easy commentary that can explain these things. And ultimately, you need truly competitive games that almost feel like a sport. So here I am. I'm going to bring 5 and 1 honorable mention possible eSport Olympic events for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. These are my top choices. We're doing a giveaway on the channel. All you have to do is be subscribed, so consider subscribing to the channel, and you'll also get more super cool content like this as a bonus. All right. Number 5, no particular order, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There's a number of reasons I think this game would be killer. 1, it would show video games to the world. There are so many characters, first and third party Nintendo and non-Nintendo, that the world would be exposed to, and you would be able to see a very reasonably easy to follow fighting game. At its core, you can watch and you can see percent goes up, distance goes further, go off the stage, die. That's bad. And the commentary is reasonably easy to deliver, at least in an Olympic sense. I also think this game shows a good one-on-one competition, and its recent explosion should give it good sustainability. I was torn between this and Melee. Ultimately, this won out because of its novelty and relative popularity. Number 4, I'm going with Rocket League. This is, of all the games, the sport that feels the most like a sport. From this title screen to the game intro to the commentators and the stages, it literally feels like you're playing a sport. The soundtrack is hype. It's no messing around. You're getting straight into the competitive side of things, and that's all it really is literally a sport. It's also the closest to a sport. It would be the easiest for people who don't watch video games to understand. It's soccer, more or less, with cars, and it would exemplify some really great team play. Now, I know this one is getting a little old, and its community is dying down quite a bit, but this is the, in my mind, quintessential sports-like esport. Number 3, League of Legends. There's a couple reasons for this beating Dota. Actually, one primary reason, it is simply a bigger game on a global scale. And I think the MOBAs definitely deserve representation. This would be the over the top game, as in like looking downwards perspective. There's a lot of good commentary camera angles that you can get. You can work with the fact that not everybody can see everything, but the commentators can kind of illustrate that. The games are fun to watch, reasonably easy to follow. Again, it's another really good team game, and actually supports a little bit bigger teams, which is kind of cool. The next 2 games are possibly more controversial. Definitely, I would say less likely, but still reasonably likely, with this next one being the least likely due to its kind of violence, I guess, or violence in the eyes of the Olympic Committee. CSGO. CSGO would be your team-based, Twitch extreme high reaction first-person shooter. This game has also stood the test of time. Community is extremely strong. Huge tournaments, lots of money on the line. I think this would be the optimal true first-person shooter to illustrate pure skill. And last on my list is a great team game, which would, I think, be much more likely than CSGO, first-person shooter, and that is Overwatch. It's definitely more family-friendly. It definitely encourages conducive team structure just in the synergy between the teammates. Also, it's kind of an interesting take to see kitted characters. Like, you're not just copy-paste characters. You have to build teams, and that would be something that could be fun for the commentators to try to explain. This one I think would actually be a little bit harder to commentate, this up there with League, because of the fact that there's just so much going on, and it might be hard to explain each and every hero's abilities. But I still think it would be super fun. We have the Overwatch League. That's a thing, for better or worse. And yeah, that's my last pick. Honorable mention, and the only reason I really did make this an honorable mention is because it does have to stand the test of time. It does have to withhold some patches and balancing. That is Apex Legends. I could easily see Apex almost taking over Overwatch in this case. With the issue of it's very hard to, at least in PUBG, when they've tried tournaments, it's very hard to keep track of that many teams and that many players. But the concept of the game is very sports-like. It feels very close to Rocket League in the sense that it's just a competitive esport. Like, there's banners that are showing, like, in the map who's currently, like, the kill leader and things like that. And all the benefits of Overwatch kind of carry over, where this is, like, team-based shooter. I think it could be more fun to watch. Again, it's too early to tell, but I think this one has a serious contender for standing the test of time. And I think the importance of making these games make it to Olympic events is because there are not a lot of true international tournaments, and even beyond that, there's not a lot of true international tournaments with these games, especially from a team-based perspective where you unite teams on a national level, like representing a country. For example, it's very rare that you see a Smash doubles tournament where where like every team is representing a different country, and I think that would be really cool to have, like Sweden with like Armada and Leffen going up against like HBox and Mango playing like a doubles team. That would be really cool, and that's something that you don't really get to see a lot. Plus, it would build this community, all of these communities, on a much bigger global scale. That's all for me, guys. Let me know what you think down below. If you agree with my list, what would you add? I'm sorry to leave some stuff out, but only 5 can make it. I will catch you guys next time.